St. John the Baptist Parish is a parish located in the U.S. state of Louisiana. As of the 2010 census, the population was 45,924. The parish seat is Edgeguard, an unincorporated area, and the largest city is Laplace, also an unincorporated. St. John the Baptist Parish was established in 1807 as one of the original 19 parishes of the Territory of Orleans, which became the state of Louisiana. St. John the Baptist Parish is part of the New Orleans Metairie, LA Metropolitan Statistical Area. This was considered part of the German coast in the 18th and 19th centuries, named for numerous German immigrants who settled in the 1720s. On January 8, 1811, the largest slave insurrection in U.S. history, known as the German Coast Uprising, started here. It was short-lived, but more than 200 slaves gathered from plantations along the river and marched through St. Charles Parish toward New Orleans. The parish includes 3 nationally significant examples of 19th-century plantation architecture: Evergreen Plantation, Whitney Plantation Historic District, and San Francisco Plantation House. History. Present-day St. John the Baptist Parish includes the third permanent settlement in what is now the state of Louisiana, after Natchitoches, New Orleans, and it was considered part of the German coast. http www.gags.com. The area was settled in the early 1720s by a group of German colonists. Many families established towns close to the Mississippi River in the areas now known as Lucy, Garyville, and Reserve. The area was under the French regime until 1763, when France ceded Louisiana to Spain after the 7 Years' War. At the beginning of the Spanish colonial period, many Acadians, people of French descent, began arriving in South Louisiana due to being expelled by the British from what is now Nova Scotia. When they were victorious in the 7 Years' War and took over French territory in Canada, the first Acadian village was established in what is now Wallace, Louisiana. The German and French cultures thrived alongside one another, but French came to be the dominant language. They developed a culture known as Cajun. The early settlers in the area received land grants from the Spanish or French royal governments, depending upon which country owned the territory at the time of application. These grants generally included some narrow frontage on the river for access to transportation of goods to and from New Orleans and world markets. The remaining property extended away from the river deeply into the wetlands. This was a French style of property allotment. Most transportation was done by boat, mainly on the bayous and lakes, but via the Mississippi River as well. For decades into the 19th century, St. John, with its fertile land being 9 feet above sea level, proved to be an excellent settlement for farming and agriculture. In the late 18th century, planters began to invest more in labor-intensive sugar cane cultivation and processing, increasing the demand for slave labor. Sugar production meant prosperity for the planters in New Orleans. With the sugar wealth, some wealthy planters built elaborate houses and outbuildings. 3 survive in St. John Parish. Each is recognized for its national architectural and historic significance. On the west bank are the major complex of house and outbuildings designated Whitney Plantation Historic District and the National Historic Landmark of Evergreen Plantation. San Francisco Plantation House, also a designated NHL, is on the east bank. San Francisco and Evergreen plantations are open to the public for tours. The Whitney Plantation House is planned for renovation. Whitney and Evergreen plantations are both included among the first 26 sites on the Louisiana African American Heritage Trail. In January 1811, the German Coast Uprising started in this parish. It was the largest slave insurrection in U.S. history, but it was short-lived. The slaves killed 2 whites, but suffered 96 deaths among their forces at the hands of the militia and quick trials afterward. They attacked 5 plantations and burned 3 houses to the ground. Charles Deslandes, a mulatto slave from Haiti, was one of the leaders of the insurrection. He and his followers were influenced by the ideals and promises of the French and Haitian revolutions. He gathered more than 200 slaves from plantations along the way, marching into St. Charles Parish toward New Orleans before meeting much resistance. Unable to get the arms they had planned on, the slaves were defeated by well-armed informal and territorial militias. During these confrontations and executions after brief trials, Deslandes and 95 slaves were killed. Decades before the American Civil War and emancipation, their actions expressed the people's deep desire for freedom. As the families of the settlement grew, the need for education for their children grew also. Before the Civil War, typically planters would hire tutors, often college graduates from the North, who would live with the family for an extended period of time, typically 2 years. The tutor would teach all of the planters' children, and sometimes the family would arrange for neighborhood children to join the classes as well. In 1869, following the Civil War, families wanting French instruction founded private schools to continue the culture. This was when the Reconstruction legislature established the first public schools in the state. The first high schools at Edgard and Reserve were built in 1909. Students travel to the schools by horse-drawn buses or by train. Geography. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, the parish has a total area of 348 square miles, of which 213 square miles is land and 135 square miles is water. It is the 3rd smallest parish in Louisiana by land area and 5th smallest by total area. St. John the Baptist Parish, Louisiana is located on the Mississippi River approximately 130 miles upriver from the Gulf of Mexico and 30 miles upriver from the city of New Orleans. The area, known as the River Region, has an abundance of natural resources and a mild sunbelt climate. The average monthly temperature in New Orleans ranges from 55.1 degrees in January to 83.7 degrees in July, and rainfall averages 53.2 squared per year, with monthly averages running from 2.52 squared in October to 7.17 squared in July. The New Orleans River region contains a good supply of raw materials, which has helped Louisiana maintain a high rank in the United States in the production of natural gas, petroleum, sulfur, salt, and fur pelts. High silica sands, lime, clays, timber, seafood, and various agricultural products are also produced in abundance. St. John the Baptist Parish is bisected by the Mississippi River, though the river actually separates the parish into northern and southern parts. The former is still referred to as the East Bank, and the latter as the West Bank. The Mississippi provides an important transportation corridor which supports the heavy industry located in the area. St. John the Baptist Parish is bordered by St. Charles Parish and Lake Pontchartrain to the east, Lake Pontchartrain and Lake Maurepas to the north, Lafourche Parish and Lac des Allemands to the south, and St. James Parish to the west. It is one of 4 parishes which comprise the river parishes. St. John Parish is the heart of the river parishes. Quote, "This section of the state, also consisting of St. James, Ascension, and St. Charles parishes, makes up the area along the Mississippi River between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. All of these parishes are home to at least one major chemical and/or petroleum processing facility, the primary sources of employment in the region. Much of the parish is either open water or wetlands. The wetlands are currently protected by federal law, and development is limited to what is permitted by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and/or the Federal Wildlife and Fisheries Department. Higher ground in the parish is found in an alluvial plain which generally borders the Mississippi River on both sides. Soil deposits from the Mississippi's annual flooding created a rich and fertile area which has historically been intensively farmed. This fact, and the natural transportation corridor supplied by the river, resulted in the creation of numerous farms and plantations along the lower Mississippi Valley. Many of these plantations were merely large tracts of land with modest or average-sized homes and outbuildings found on the higher ground. Several, however, were improved with palatial mansions. 3 of the larger homes have survived in St. John Parish, as noted in the history above. The higher ground along the banks was used to grow crops, while the wetlands were valued for their abundant timber, hunting and fishing. For years, development in the river parishes was limited to those areas that were high and less prone to flooding, until the existing levees and pump systems were built. However, few places were truly safe from high water. Even today, most of the parish is considered a flood hazard area. Adjacent parishes: Tangipahoa Parish, St. Charles Parish, Lafourche Parish, St. James Parish, Ascension Parish, Livingston Parish. Transportation. Major highways: East Bank. The primary artery on the east bank of St. John Parish is Airline Highway. This 5-lane, asphalt-paved road was once the predominant route linking Baton Rouge and New Orleans. Though it is still heavily traveled, much of the New Orleans-Baton Rouge traffic has been diverted to Interstate 10, located in the northern part of the parish. Interstate 10, a divided, controlled access highway, has 2 interchanges in St. John Parish, one at Beltaire Boulevard and the second at U.S. Highway 51. Interstate 55, both in LaPlace. Both Beltaire Boulevard and Highway 51 intersect Airline Highway approximately 3.5 miles south of Interstate 10. Interstate 55, a north-south route leading to Jackson, Mississippi, and beyond, intersects Interstate 10 in the northeastern sector of LaPlace. A third Interstate 10 interchange exists just west of the St. John Parish line near Gramercy. River Road, also known as Jefferson Highway, Louisiana Highway 44, is a 2-lane, asphalt-paved, winding highway which parallels the Mississippi River. Most of the heavy industry in the parish fronts on this road. West Bank. Most of the development on the West Bank lies along Louisiana Highway 18, a 2-lane, asphalt-paved highway which parallels the Mississippi River similarly to Highway 44 on the East Bank. In addition to Louisiana 18, the West Bank has Louisiana Highway 3127 of the river parish's highway, which is roughly equivalent to the East Bank's Airline Highway in that it follows the Mississippi. It is not as winding nor as populated as River Road. Highway 3127 leads to Donaldsonville upriver from St. John Parish. It is home of the Sunshine Bridge over the Mississippi River in Ascension Parish. This road has little development on either side and is generally surrounded by wetlands in St. John Parish. Veterans Memorial Bridge, a Gramercy Bridge. This bridge originates on the east bank of St. James Parish near Gramercy, larger, and has access to I-10 and Airline Highway via Louisiana Highway 641. The foot of the bridge on the west bank is in St. John Parish near Wallace, with a tie into Louisiana Highway 3127 that opened June 18, 2008. The opening of this bridge has spurred the development hoped for along the west bank of St. John Parish. Access to the west bank of St. John Parish is also provided by a ferry crossing at Reserve Edgard and by the Hale Boggs Bridge over the Mississippi in St. Charles Parish. Demographics. As of the 2010 United States Census, there were 45,924 people residing in the parish. 53.5% were Black or African American, 42.5% white, 0.7% Asian, 0.3% Native American, 1.5% of some other race and 1.4% of two or more races. 4.7% were Hispanic or Latino. As of the census of 2000, there were 43,044 people, 14,283 households, and 11,312 families residing in the parish. The population density was 197 people per square mile. There were 15,532 housing units at an average density of 71 per square mile. The racial makeup of the parish was 52.58% white, 44.76% Black or African American, 0.26% Native American, 0.53% Asian, 0.03% Pacific Islander, 0.86% from other races, and 0.98% from two or more races. 2.86% of the population were Hispanic or Latino of any race. There were 14,283 households, out of which 43.00% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 56.10% were married couples living together. 18.10% had a female householder with no husband present, and 20.80% were non-families. 17.50% of all households were made up of individuals, and 6.00% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.98, and the average family size was 3.38. In the parish, the population was spread out with 31.20% under the age of 18, 9.70% from 18 to 24, 30.20% from 25 to 44, 21.10% from 45 to 64, and 7.80% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 32 years. For every 100 females there were 94.30 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 90.70 males. The median income for a household in the parish was $39,456, and the median income for a family was $43,925. Males had a median income of $37,293 versus $22,323 for females. The per capita income for the parish was $15,445. About 13.90% of families and 16.70% of the population were below the poverty line, including 21.70% of those under age 18 and 17.80% of those age 65 or over. Government, education. The St. John the Baptist Parish School Board operates 10 public schools within the parish. The Archdiocese of New Orleans oversees 5 religious schools within the parish, and there are 2 privately run schools within the parish. http://www.louisianabelieves.com. Data Report Cards 2013 National Guard. The 1084th Transportation Company of the 165th CSS Battalion of the Louisiana National Guard resides in Reserve, Louisiana. Communities. St. John the Baptist Parish has no incorporated areas. Census-designated places: Edgard, Garyville, Laplace, Reserve, Wallace, unincorporated community: Mount Airy, Ghost Town: Ruddock. On the west bank of the Mississippi River lie the sprawling towns of Lucy, Edgard and Wallace, which are surrounded primarily by agricultural land, with rows of sugar cane covering the fields shared with the parish courthouse. On the east bank of the Mississippi River lie the towns of Laplace, Reserve, Lyons, Garyville, and Mount Airy, each a thriving, bustling community with industries along the river, including a chemical plant, sugar refinery, grain elevators, and an oil refinery. However, St.John the Baptist Parish had a 9th and 10th community, Ruddock and Frenia, which were settled on the isthmus between Lake Maurepas and Lake Pontchartrain, 10 miles NNE of Laplace. In 1892, Ruddock, founded by the Ruddock Cypress Company, was made into a sawmill town. In September 1915, the 1915 New Orleans hurricane hit Ruddock and the nearby town of Frenia, destroying the towns and killing some of residents. Today, Ruddock and Frenia are ghost towns in the parish as well as an unwanted memorial. Although the towns have been overgrown by vegetation, all that remains of the settlements are rotted wood from the buildings. Nevertheless, the former towns are marked on an I-55 exit sign and on Louisiana road maps.